I for sure was his most favorite person in the world. Like, hands down.
There was
that
mom,
was me.
there was mom, there was mom, then maybe there was dad.
So back in 2015, we were looking for a new church, and Sojourn was one that we really came across and loved the community there. And the second week that we were there, it was Orphan Sunday, and someone from a local adoption agency came on the stage and said, there is a 2-week-old baby boy in Uganda that needs an immediate home. And immediately on my Sojourn bulletin, I wrote, I want that little boy, and I handed it over to Jeff.
And I rolled my eyes.
At that point, Charlotte was 3 years old, and Jack was 10 months old, and he said, absolutely not. And I said, I just know he's supposed to be a part of our family.
And after the service got over, and I rolled my eyes and was thinking about all the chaos that our life was in. We were about to move into a new house in a month after that. We were living in a rental. There was a lot of other things going on in life. And when the service ended, she grabbed my arm and she said, let's go talk to the lady about our little boy.
I think the Holy Spirit can act in so many different ways and speak to you in so many different ways. And I just remember sitting on those pews and just knowing, like, he is supposed to be a part of our lives. I just knew. And then you know, doubt comes in and fear comes in. And so we submitted our application for the adoption, and the agency called us and said, you know, there's 4 other families that also submitted application. And so then I think at that point, Jeff and I are like, well, we did our due diligence. Yeah, it's not going to be us. Yeah. Like, we're sure that there's another family that is probably going to get matched with Luke. And sure enough, 2 days later, they called us and said, you're it. And we're like, wow, okay. Yes. So here we go. And it was during that process of anxiety and fear and the unknown that you just have to lean into the Lord. And that was even more so progressed when Luke got sick during the adoption process. So we hadn't even been over to Uganda at that point, that we got word that Luke got really sick and he was rushed to the hospital in Uganda.
We had quite the chaos getting him home, and once we landed in Detroit, we took him straight to Mott Children's Hospital for evaluations because he was very, very sick. Adoption is only a part of this world because the world is broken, and in a perfect world, there isn't a need for children to be in different families.
A lot of people see adoption as rescuing these children, and that's not what adoption is at all. I think adoption is about a lot of grief and loss. They're losing their biological family. They're losing, in this case, their culture. And they're gaining a family, but it's really messy and it's not perfect, and I don't think it's what God has intended. But we feel really lucky in the fact that we have the means to open our home and provide a loving home, but we also are very realistic about the trauma that goes in with that as well. Luke was diagnosed with pulmonary alveolar microlithiasis, and basically tiny little kidney stones, little calcium deposits were building up in his lungs. And it's a genetic disease. He was born with it, and it accumulates over time, so it will only progressively get worse. So
the option quickly narrowed itself to a double lung transplant.
After he got transplanted, it was a road to recovery, but within 2 weeks, he was fully off oxygen. And it was the first time that we got to see Luke's face like fully free of tubes and the stickers that held the oxygen tube, and it was so beautiful.
It was the best 6 weeks. I remember that Christmas. I remember all of our family being down for Christmas in Cincinnati, because we had to stay there for a certain amount of time for them to keep monitoring him. And it was, again, we just thought we were not in the clear, but we were moving in a positive direction. And then on New Year's Eve, he got a virus, and then after that virus, he started rejecting the lungs.
we had the option to stay in Cincinnati or come home. But either way, Luke was going to be put on hospice.
We decided to go home. So we came home in June of 2018, and full well knowing what was going to happen, and wanted to be around family and support. And
yeah,
he passed away on July 16th of 2018.
How much do I love you? More. Put both hands out. More. So much! That's how much I love you. Can you blow me a kiss?
Bye.
No parent should have to do that, but
No. It was horrible, and we still grieve daily. I think one of the hardest things after Luke passed was the immediate calm, if that makes any sense, right? We went 2 years of just crazy.
we were back in the comfortable and hating it.
Yeah.
Like just wishing that we still heard the buzz of the oxygen concentrator. The fact that our kids learned so early that Luke is in heaven with Jesus, and how they would be sitting us and saying, well, I can't wait to get to heaven, right? And just having this beautiful picture of, oh, Luke's not here right now and we miss him so much, but we get to spend eternity together with Jesus. And I think that's like such a cool thing that our kids have an understanding of, in the most human way that we can have an understanding of that.
Right.
Luke opened our eyes to a world of need, and so here we are back again, and we're in the process of adopting a 3-year-old little girl in Liberia, and we just realized that we have the capacity to love, and we want to open up our family to more kids.
Yeah.